So when you hear the word cardamom, usually this is what's being spoken about: green cardamom. Green cardamom is available where I live in the US, but it's kind of neglected. It's not really something you're going to find at like every supermarket, and that's kind of a shame because this is a really, really good thing. In the Indian subcontinent, you will see this used in a variety of different desserts and in tea. In the Middle East, it's popular in coffee. If you ever wondered why Turkish coffee is so good, cardamom, that's why. Also, it's quite popular in Nordic countries. This is an ingredient that's used in a lot of different baked goods, including Swedish cardamom buns. Green cardamom can be used with the husk on it, or you can peel it off and get the seeds on the inside. Some places will actually sell just the seeds without the husk on them. Green cardamom is part of the ginger family. Normally when you think ginger, you think of, ginger root. Ginger root, technically it's a rhizome, but let's not get into that. But ginger also produces other edible parts. There's ginger flowers, there's ginger fruits, there's ginger seeds of a variety of different genuses and species. One spice you might come across that is in the ginger family is this guy right here. This is grains of paradise. It's not referred to as a cardamom, but it does share certain similarities to cardamom. Another one that I have right here is Madagascar wild ginger. It's the seed of a ginger fruit, and it is used very similarly as grains of paradise. It has a similar flavor, although honestly not quite as good. So these two guys here are not cardamoms, okay? They are part of the ginger family, so they are related to cardamom, but they're not typically called cardamom, okay? This one over here is Chinese cardamom, also known as red cardamom. If you ever go to a hot pot restaurant and they put a bunch of spices to infuse into the broth, you might find one of these floating in it. So that's how I've come across this, but it's also used in a variety of different meat dishes. These are smoked, and they also have kind of like a savory flavor. This guy right here, honestly, I don't really know what this is. I don't know what species this is, but this was sold as red cardamom. Now I know I said that this is red cardamom. If you look online for red cardamom, you're going to find this. But at the store, this came in a package that said red cardamom on it. I don't know what it is. My guess is that this is also in the ginger family though, and probably just a different species, maybe a different genus of ginger. Next, the star of the show. This is what we're going to be focusing on today. A spice that is not impossible to find. You might find this if you have a well-stocked Asian supermarket or Indian supermarket. This is black cardamom. So black cardamom looks very similar to the Chinese cardamom here, or the red cardamom. And there's more that it has in common with it. It's also smoked, and it is also used in meat dishes. But as you can see, this black cardamom is smaller than the red cardamom. It's like half the size, but it does have like a similar sort of use to it, which is interesting because black cardamom is used in the Indian subcontinent, red cardamom is used in China. So they are used for similar things, but they come from different places. That's always kind of fun. So I have a lot of spices here, all related to each other, but today I'm going to be focusing on the black cardamom, and specifically how the black cardamom compares to probably the most common out of all of these, the green cardamom. Against my better judgment, I think the best way to do that is just to try it raw. So let's start things off with the green cardamom. And I'm going to split this husk, and inside there are these little black seeds. And the seeds are often used just on their own. You can split them out of the husk and like grind them up and just use that. Other recipes do call for the husk. And the reason why you'd want to use the husk is that the husk also has its own flavor, a different flavor than the seeds on the inside. First, I'm going to try just some of the seeds on their own. It's kind of hard to describe properly because when you eat it like this, it's harsh. It's like a little menthol-y. It's very herbal. It's kind of like almost like a little like cough droppy and like a little resiny, kind of peppery. There's a lot of like strong flavors in there. But you're not meant to use it in that kind of great quantity. When you use it in just like a little bit, you don't really feel any harshness to it. It's a flavor that is like very aromatic. It doesn't taste like ginger and it doesn't taste like cinnamon, but it's kind of like in that same sort of category where it kind of gets you in the nose a little bit when you eat it. Although people do use this in savory things, it's one of the key ingredients in garam masala, which is a like an all-purpose kind of like seasoning that people use in India. It's also used in sweet things a lot. Next, I'll try a little piece of the husk just to see what that's like on its own. Again, not a normal thing to do. The husk is kind of tough, but overall that husk tastes like the seed on the inside, just not as peppery, not as menthol-y, and a little bit more herbal. But what about the black cardamom? It smells smoky and also a little camphory. So I have a feeling this is going to be pretty harsh. The inside of the black cardamom is very similar to the green cardamom. It's got the little black seeds stacked up like that. They're kind of like in rows. I'll just pick out one single seed just on its own. Oh, it's complex. It definitely has the same flavors as the green cardamom, but with a whole lot of other ones. The menthol taste is dialed up. It shares certain characteristics with the green cardamom, no doubt about that. But because it's smoky, it's a little bit more savory tasting, it makes sense that this is used to flavor like savory dishes. So I haven't tried the husk yet, so let's just try that on its own. No seeds in there. Oh, the husk is... Oh. Don't really like the husk on its own. That's a difficult flavor. And the problem with it is that it's sour and smoky, and those things do not usually go together. It's not as menthol-y, it's not as peppery, so in that way it is similar to how the green cardamom is. You know, the husk has a different flavor than the seeds on the inside. I think the husk could be used. It definitely has a strong flavor to it, but you're going to have to think about it, because that, I think, could very easily overpower something. The first thing that comes to mind on what to do with this would be to use it in savory things the same way you would use smoked paprika. So this would be good maybe for vegetarians, vegans, if you want to make a fake meat that's got some smokiness to it and a little bit of a kick to it. This would work well for that, I think. So maybe let's put something together. Really hot. That is delicious. Really, really good. So this is an adaptation on a recipe that is an Ital cuisine dish. Originally, it had a whole bunch of spices in it, a bunch of dry spices. I took all of those out, and I replaced it with the black cardamom because I wanted to taste the black cardamom. And I can really taste the black cardamom. It does give it a nice smoky taste, the same way that smoked paprika would, only it has more flavor to it. It tastes like I put more stuff in there than I did. So if you want to use a spice that's going to add a savory note and a smoky note this is a good way to go. The next thing I'm going to do is maybe a bit controversial, but I'm going to take the black cardamom and I'm going to use it to make masala chai. The reason why I want to do this is because I love masala chai. I drink it like, if not every day, like every other day. I am not talking about a chai tea latte that you get from Starbucks. Chai tea latte, first of all, it just means tea, so it's a really stupid name. And also, it is not masala chai. It is an abomination compared to masala chai. If you've had masala chai, typically that is made with green cardamom pods. Green cardamom, ginger, you might put some cloves in it, or star anise, or cinnamon. Black cardamom is not typically used in masala chai, but I am going to do this because I want to see what the flavors are. It's going to give me an idea of how the black cardamom is different than the green cardamom. Cool? First off, I use a old coffee percolator without the mechanism. That way I have a little built-in filter. So go and get one. Or, just use a pot and filter it out. I'm going to put 1 cup of water, and I'm going to turn this on medium heat. While that's warming up, I'm going to take one of these. This is a little hunk of ginger. How much is it? I don't know. Spices. Okay, I'm going to take a mortar. I'm just going to use 1 wing of star anise. Not 1, not 3, but 2 cloves. Typically, I would put in maybe like 3 cardamom pods, green ones. Because these are bigger, I'm just going to take 1 nice big fat one. That's going to go in there. 1 little flake of cinnamon here, and that's going to go in. 2 little grinds of black pepper in there, and crunch this all up. This cardamom pod is softer, so it doesn't really want to break up as easily as the green one. So let me just take the seeds out. Okay. There we go. I don't know if this is a good idea, guys. I don't know. It's got a menthol smell. So is that going to be good in tea? I don't know. Okay, and this goes into the percolator. Now this is important. You want your tea to be good tea. You don't want to use some crappy little tea bag, okay? You want to use Assam tea, maybe Ceylon tea would work. This stuff is like almost like coffee. It's such like a strong flavor. And you can see it comes in like little bits. It's not like full leaves. I use about like a teaspoon of it. So yeah, about that much. And that's going to go into the boiling water. If you're somebody who likes drinking loose leaf tea and you're part of like that culture, you like really want like a good cup of tea and you brew it properly, this is a total sin because you normally do not cook your tea in the liquid. Not in the case with masala chai. You do let it cook just for a little bit, and then I'm going to add the milk. And this is an equal amount of milk to the water. This is going to cook for a while, maybe up to like 10 minutes. Do not leave this on the stove and walk away, because what happens is if it gets too hot, actually let me turn up the heat just a little bit. Before too long, this thing is going to bubble over. It's also a good time to add some sugar. So you can put this while it's cooking, or you can put it at the end, depending on what you like. I'm just going to put it in now, about that much. I think it's done. Looks pretty good. Okay, there we go. Often how you get tea in India is it'll be in a metal cup like this, and every person who visits India for the first time has the rookie mistake of trying to pick it up like this. And if you do that, because it's metal, it's going to burn the hell out of your hand. What you want to do is grab it just from the very rim. If you do that, you're not going to burn yourself. It still tastes like a good cup of tea, just not as good as if you were to put the green cardamom, because the black cardamom doesn't really give this that flavor. It doesn't give that green cardamom kind of flavor. and I miss it. What the black cardamom is providing is a little bit of like an herbal flavor, and maybe a little bit of that savory sort of taste. But it's not so strong that it makes this not enjoyable, it's just kind of a little bit lacking. I can see the argument of using the black cardamom with the green cardamom. Some people, they do like to put like bay leaf in their masala chai. I don't usually go that way, but this kind of has that sort of effect. It's giving a little bit of an herbal taste. I'm not really getting much of a smokiness. I was worried that that would kind of like ruin the experience and be too smoky. I'm not really getting it, honestly. I think if I were to put 2 pods in there, I think it would be too much. A little bit, and it's okay. So when people say don't use black cardamom to make tea, it's not like a huge warning, like it's something that's going to be completely terrible. It just isn't nearly as good. I think black cardamom is definitely something that's worth buying. It's something worth playing with, but you can't use it the same way you use regular green cardamom. But in savory dishes, black cardamom is definitely one to use. So I think that's about it. Hope you enjoyed this episode, guys, and if you have any other spices you'd like me to try out, let me know in the comments below. See you next time. It's alright. Hey, before you click away, I'd like to give a big shout out to my mega patrons. That includes Smarter Everyday, Sean M. Glynn, and Loftyrex. They are big supporters over on patreon.com. Patreon is how I can continue to keep this series going, so if you'd like to help support the channel, take a look at the link in the description below. If you don't want to go on Patreon, another way to support the channel is to buy a t-shirt. T-shirts are available also in the description below. Thanks so much, guys. Bye-bye.